Hey folks, Coach Jeff here with another Pro Hockey Breakdown. Thanks for joining today. We're going to take a look at another of our series of defensive and offensive zone coverage and switches. This is going to be defensive zone switches. If you haven't already seen the defensive zone coverage video, please check that out because that gives you the foundation that you need to start learning about how to do switching. Also, for fun, if you haven't yet seen the Amoeba defense video, that's a really fun way to look at the defensive formation through the eyes of a microorganism. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. It's a lot of fun and it's actually pretty instructional. So with this one, let's just get right to it. You already know the basic positioning on the defensive zone, and you'll see that as the puck enters into the zone, you're going to have, if it's deep in the corner, your defenseman is going to be the primary person to get after that. But what happens if he has to carry the puck up towards the blue line? Okay, if he's forced into a situation where he's following that player with the puck up towards the blue line, that is now going to displace the left winger. Let's move back a second here. The left winger was in its position up by the blue line, but now you have congestion in that corner due to the fact that the defenseman came up and had to follow that other player who had the puck up into the corner. So what needs to happen? If you're like that amoeba, you're not going to flood the area too much with all your players. You don't want too much congestion. You want to be able to attack if the puck slides back into an area that's being uncovered right now. So you have to adjust and make a switch. And so you'll see that right now to switch, that left winger is going to come down into the defenseman's position, and now is covering that area of the ice down there. Okay, what happens then could also be this is an alternate version of that. So if instead of the left winger coming down to the defensive position, another way you could handle that is with the left wing coming into the center's position and the center sliding down into the defense. So backing that up and looking here again, this is more of kind of a rotation. If you had the defenseman coming up, the left wing can slide over into the slot, and the center can slide down into that defenseman's primary area of responsibility. Okay, so that's another way that this could happen, just showing you as many options as are possible out there. This doesn't cover actually all of them, but you have to be able to kind of shift and react on the fly on the ice, and so I'm just giving you some ideas of things that you could practice. Okay, now what happens if the defenseman carries the puck towards the mid-ice area in the high slot? Well, now our left winger has a chance to recover, okay, and get back into their primary position. The centerman who slid down to cover the defensive position on that left side stays there because the defenseman is still kind of in their area. Now if the puck comes back down to the corner, look what happens. We're all back to where we started. The defenseman is back in their primary zone. The center goes back to the primary area, and the left wing is already back in that area from a shift that happened previously. So there's a lot of fluid motion that's happening on the ice, and you just have to be aware and heads up, and there has to be a lot of communication and just natural tendency to fill the areas of the ice that aren't being attended to because a player had to follow the puck out of their position. Okay, let's say the puck's on the other side of the ice, and this time it's going to start with the right winger defending somebody up by the blue line. Okay, so they're up here in their primary area of responsibility, but as that player starts to get closer to the goal line, there's again a moment of congestion. Okay, this is what we're trying to avoid. If you're really doing justice to that amoeba type defense, you're not going to be overly flooded in one area. And what happens here now is who is guarding this area. Okay, so we need to have somebody recover into that area, and who's it going to be? Well, we've just displaced the defenseman because the right winger went into that defensive player's primary area of responsibility, so the defenseman's going to cover for that action. Okay, let's say now the puck carrier, or the person guarding the puck carrier, has to come back up to the blue line. Now there's a chance to recover, and so the defenseman recovers back down into that primary zone of responsibility. Okay, there you have it. Those are some examples of some defensive zone switches. Take a look at that a couple times so it really sinks in. Practice that on the ice. Make sure during your games that you're staying heads up and aware, and that you're communicating with your other teammates so that you can make those switches and recoveries happen seamlessly so that you're not leaving yourself exposed in any areas on the ice. Great. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe so you can stay up on this series of zone coverages, and look out for other videos that are coming up in the off season and during the regular season. Thanks so much.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. No matter how hard you try.